Here's the deal. Logic dictates otherwise, but the truth is many people will hop on board because they see a thin person who's magically getting results. And everything on Instagram is real, right? Hi, I'm Mareya, otherwise known as the Fit Foodie. I'm a chef, holistic nutritionist, author, inventor, and mom. And I want to welcome you to my podcast. It's called Recipes for Your Best Life. And with every episode, I'm peeling back the onion on fitness, nutrition, health, wellness, and family. The truth is, you're the chef of your life. And for every important pillar, there's a great recipe worth sharing. So every week, we'll explore them together. Think of it as food for thought that you can really sink your teeth into. So join me, and let's squeeze the joy out of this life, because you only get one. Can I get a fork, yeah? I think we can all agree life's way too short for boring food, right? It deserves to be filled with fresh, flavorful, mouth-watering dishes that you and your family are excited to share together. And guess what? Now it's so easy to broaden your cooking skills and try out fun recipes. And here's the best part. You don't need a bunch of fancy appliances to do it. With Panasonic's Home Chef 4-in-1 multi-oven, you can, get this, heat, fry, bake, and broil your way to foodie heaven. Yep, it's a microwave, broiler, air fryer, and convection oven all wrapped up into one appliance. So smart. So whether you're trying out a new food trend or your grandma's kind of complicated recipe, or maybe a fusion dish you've been dying to try, or maybe one of my dishes from my book, this multi-oven makes your cooking experience a really enjoyable one. So start thinking of all those recipes and dishes you've been dying to try out. Now's the time, because this multi-oven makes even the most complicated recipes super simple. I love super simple. It's the 4-in-1 that inspires your inner chef to try daring new dishes with confidence. So, to receive special offers, head over to PanasonicKitchen.com and become a Panasonic Kitchen Insider. Common activities include human-animal interaction, like farming, hunting, ranching, and keeping animals as pets. Human-animal contact is heightened when humans encroach on wild lands. I mean, just think about it. Those little critters that are running through farmlands, and that's generally the cause of contamination, especially when you're talking about fresh produce. Listen, I am not a vegan, okay? I'm just going to come out and say it. So I am definitely not in the camp saying that we need to completely eliminate the consumption and contact with animals. But there have been documented epidemics by various strains of animal contracted disease and flu for the past century. I mean, it's something we need to take a look at. The 1918 flu infected over a quarter of the world's population and killed over 50 million people. That's a whole hell of a lot of people. And it was caused by an H1N1 virus that historians say likely originated in a Kansas chicken farm. An H1N1 strain that reached pandemic levels in the US and Mexico in 2009. I remember this so clearly because it was just when I was starting my business. Likely had its origins in the pig populations of both countries too. Ebola and HIV, which transferred to humans from primates like chimpanzees and gorillas, were discovered in regions of sub-Saharan Africa, where communities were near primate populations. And many zoonotic diseases are the result of human farming. You know, it's one of those things that when you look at pandemic diseases, and you look especially at what's taken place in the last 100 years, we need to understand that this relationship that we have with animals, whether we're eating them or raising them or coming into contact with them, are creating catastrophic disease. Now, there are a handful of foodborne diseases that you can only get from eating undercooked meat. So, like, for example, if you eat undercooked pork or raw pork, or you eat undercooked chicken or raw chicken, you will be at risk for getting those diseases that are associated with those animals. But if you cook them thoroughly, to the kill point, which is different depending on that product. With turkey and chicken, it needs to be at an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees at the thickest point. Then you're in a better position to prevent getting sick.
Well, you know what? I've been doing it for years. I try to stick within a routine, and my routine is really healthy stuff for me. For instance, exercising. I'm not the kind of guy that goes in the gym for an hour to 2 hours a day. I go in and I work 40 minutes, but it's really efficient, and I get after it. Right. I don't play around. I'm in there for 40 minutes and I'm moving. So,
and by the way, you're like the picture of health and fitness. I mean, kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. It's from years and years of discipline and consistency. So getting my workout in at least probably 6 days a week is a great place to start.
Can I ask you, what is your workout? Like, what do you do when you're at the gym, when you say you get after it?
Yeah, I do a full body workout, and I've been doing it every day. And, there's so many myths out there when it comes to training, so many. And the people say, oh, you can't train the same body part every day. Here's the reality to that. The reality is most people don't push themselves hard enough, because you say, oh, you're tearing your muscles down. I got news for you. Most people don't ever push themselves to the point where they're tearing anything down. All right. That's the reality. So I do a full body workout every day. And when I do one set to failure. So one set of every muscle group to failure. And when I do that, I go from one station to the next. So in that 40-minute workout, I'm getting the cardio because I'm not checking my phone. I'm not interacting with people. I'm getting after it. So I not only get the resistance training, but I get the cardio training, and I go to failure on every set. So for instance,
what is failure for you? Like how many reps do you do normally?
Well, it depends. To me, if I'm beyond like 15 to 20 reps, then I'll increase my weight a bit. All right. Mm-hmm. So I'm not doing heavy weights for like 5 or 8 times, because if I'm moving that weight and I'm getting completely blasted within 6 to 8 repetitions, then I'm going to be more prone to injury, because it's a heavier weight, and by heavier weights, I tend to lose control of the motion, of the movement. And that's really hard for men, believe it or not, because men exercise their mind. So for instance, they're doing chest flies. They say, Peter, give me those 60s. And I say, you know what? Let's go to the 45s and let's do slow and controlled, because at the end of the day, and don't feel that you have to count. Quit counting. Listen to your body and go to complete failure. Right. And so, and when I'm showing them flies, I show them, look, there's a number of different movements that you can do doing the chest fly movement. So you hit different parts of your pectoral. The same with working your legs, right? There's so many great things you can do for your legs and your glutes where you're firing everything. So it's just really about, understanding what it is you're working and getting away from that mindset of I'm going to do 5 sets of 10 heavyweight, that's just, it's really old school, and it's not for people that are on the go.
People want to be acknowledged. A lot of the time they kind of, take it out on others. I have to share with you, I got an email from a customer about our Eat Cleaner product. She's a hardcore customer. Like, I've talked to her on the phone several times. Like, she's the kind of customer who will call in. And I got this really angry email from her, and I was just like, wow, that's just so out of character. So instead of firing back, I was just like, I'm just so sorry you feel this way. I just would love to be able to understand like why you feel this way. And she wrote me back the most apologetic email. Like, I've almost felt bad. Like, I really didn't say anything wrong, but like, she was so apologetic and was like, please forgive me. And I was like, there's obviously something going on. And having that ability to just say, I'm going to respond with love because there's probably something going on versus like, screw you, I mean, it yields the result that you want.
Right. And I love that because you said people want to be acknowledged, and that's exactly what it is. People want to be seen. So even if you don't feel she was right, or you have where you were coming from, we don't need to document all of that. Hearing her, understanding her, empathizing, that's all that she needs. And you saw that because she responded in a way that bounced that back to you.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, now more than ever, people have a lot of expectations. Maybe they have a lot of emotions. They have a lot of feelings. People are in a myriad of different situations versus where they were at the beginning of the year. I mean, nobody could have forecasted what would happen. Here we are in June right now as we record this, back in January as we turned into a new decade. So, in this journey to health, I think that being in the best possible mindset you can be is really, really important. And you can nourish that. You can feed your body with the proper nutrients. You can get proper rest. You can sleep well. You can hydrate. Hydration is even more important than food in a lot of cases.
I can feel if my body feels inflamed. So I try and keep it alkaline as much as I can and very conscious of anything that's increasing that ability for me to be inflamed. Because that's when I start to feel arthritic in my knees or my back hurts. And if I can eliminate that and keep the hydration up, that's when I feel the most energy and also I can do the things I want to do.
So I see a theme here. I see that you are a very intuitive person. I think that you figure things out because you listen and then you take the information and you then put it into practice. What do you think is something that a listener could do to action, just taking that first initial step? Because I think that is a gift, and I don't think that comes easily to everybody. I think sometimes it's very overwhelming to find information. I mean, certainly we are advocates of what we know works, but sometimes you have to go out there and experience it yourself. What is step one for someone listening that wants to find a path of health and vibrancy that would work for them?
I mean, it's a really big question because I could break it down.
It's just one step, though.
No, I know, but it's like I'm a big believer in experimentation. I really am, and you called it really well. I'm very intuitive. I'm intuitive with people. I'm intuitive with myself. I can feel things. I'm very kind of kinesthetic. That's just kind of, again, a gift that I have. So what I tend to sort of say to people when in different ways is you've got to trust that feeling. We all have a degree of that, right? We all have a degree of intuition, and sometimes we close it off. And so what I often say to people is you've got to trust what you're feeling. So back to your point around, am I vegan? Am I this? Or what should I do? My first thing is, firstly, trust yourself to go somewhere that it feels right as the first starting point, and then experiment.
Herbs and humans, we've been tied together ever since the beginning of time, literally. The moment that humans were able to figure out that the vegetation and the environment could provide sustenance and nutrition is when that relationship began. So whether it was digging up roots from the earth and eating those and realizing that gives you energy, or eating any sort of spring green like a bitter leaf and realizing that does help with digestion. I mean, that's really how far back it goes. So, herbs is just another word for pretty much like a vegetable or a fruit or something else that's giving you nutrition or that's supporting your body in some way. So that's the basis of our relationship. And then as humans progress throughout time, this herbalism itself kind of formed into different meanings for different cultures, whether it's using an herb over tradition, a grandmother teaching the granddaughter, teaching the daughter. These bits of knowledge were passed down in a very natural way. And then other cultures, of course, formalized it a little bit more by having very specific roles within their societies that were keepers of this knowledge and that were able to apply these herbs to people, whether it was for their body, mind, or spirit, very specifically. And from that, of course, we have more formalized schools of herbalism, whether it's traditional Chinese